And welcome back. DEB's Learning Academy is an after-school program that's providing educational empowerment and character development to marginalized yet academically motivated youth. Now, the program focuses on the total development of the student outside of the classroom. And coming up on Wednesday, July the 5th, the school is collaborating with Fate Fourth Youth, which is their annual summer institute. And joining us now, we are telling us more, is DEB's Learning Academy's director, Dahalia Beccan. And thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you very much for having me.
And you got to be pretty excited for the fact that really when it comes to helping students get to that next level, you're an academy that's really doing that and helping them to achieve greater.
Definitely. So our focus has always been on math and reading. And so we want to prevent that dreaded summer slide. And so we have that awesome summer camp where it's a good mix of academic support and enrichment activities.
And when we talk about academics, math, of course, is one of those things that you got to stay on. And when we talk about the summertime, obviously everybody wants to go on vacation, but we do know those math skills can actually deteriorate sometimes if we're not really paying particular attention. I know you're trying to combat that. So talk to us a little bit about the importance of really retaining in a time like that.
Definitely. In the Bronx here, one of the biggest issues that we have in the classroom is that our scholars are they struggle with reading. And so by extension, they struggle with reading, they struggle with math. So what we try to do over the summer is we try to engage them in fun activities that allows them to read on a continuous basis without even realizing that they're reading. They're doing math projects, they're doing spelling competitions, they're doing debate. All of that encapsulates reading and doing the math. And so by the end of the summer, they would have retained everything that they have learned the previous year. And in the last 2 weeks of the camp, we kind of introduce them to the upcoming curriculum. So they get a jump start. So when they get to school in September, they are prepared and ready to go.
So a lot of kids have it out, when it comes to summer school, it's not their thing. They hate it. They don't really feel that. But for you, it's an opportunity to give school in a different kind of way.
Oh, it is. We intertwine it with enrichment activities. And so they're doing robotics. They're playing piano. They're learning to play the piano. They're learning to write the notes. We have knitting. Basketball, and everything that we do is in a learning way. So they're learning to play basketball, they're learning the mechanics, they're doing robotics, they have to do their research, and then they come and the teacher helps them to put the robot together. So everything is done in a fun way. The spelling competitions are competitive. We have a math sprint. So every day they have to do 60 questions in 60 seconds. So at the end of the week, it's the race to be able to complete those 60 questions in 60 seconds at the end of the week for the prize. So it's very competitive, and it gives them that drive that makes them want to do it, because we have some awesome prizes at the end of each week. We also take them on trips. So everything that they do in the classroom, then we take them out and they experience it. So this year, our theme is wind energy. So this year, they're going to be building the windmill in the classroom, and then we're taking them to the wind farm upstate. So they'll get a great opportunity to see the windmill in action, transferring energy from wind to electricity.
Amazing. Now, I know the other component that you really focus on is also mentorship, right? And I think that it's important for every student in some way, shape, or form to have that as a part of their, educational journey. You guys are looking to really provide that for them. Talk to us about your mentorship program.
So our mentorship program, we focus on, so by extension really, we have more boys than girls in our camp, right? And so we put them in small groups. We have them meet with community members. Councilman Riley is a big part of our program. And so he comes in and he has conversations with our scholars. We pair them with people in our community who are high standing, who are good role models for these scholars, not just spiritually, emotionally, but also career-wise. So we have conversations with them. We determine where they want to go, and then we pair them with individuals who are able to help guide them along those paths.
Yeah. You know, a kid in school sometimes doesn't, well, I'll go back to this from another perspective. Back in the day, attendance wasn't really a big issue with young people. They went to school. Now we know attendance and retention are really some of the biggest challenges that you as an educator face. Talk to me about how you guys are looking at approaching that, because we know that a lot of students right now struggle in the area of attendance because it's a whole different set of life issues, right?
And one of the things that we have found out is that scholars don't attend school because they are struggling, right? If you're not comfortable, if you can't read and you're not comfortable in the classroom and you struggle, then the impetus to be there has been reduced. And so they would rather be somewhere where they are comfortable, right? We always try to move away from our struggles, right? So school becomes a struggle, so they move away from it. So what we do is we try to make reading fun. So we start right where they are. Most times they are 2, 3 reading levels below. We start them there. And so we help them to develop that love for reading, that love for doing schoolwork, so that they, over time, begin to enjoy it, and then they see the results, because that's the key. If you're doing something and you're not seeing the results,
Right.
you become more frustrated. And the more frustrated you are, is the less likely you are to do it. So our job is to remove those elements of frustration. So they begin to enjoy reading, and then in reading, they realize, oh, but I can do math, because now I'm able to read the question, I'm able to understand the question, I'm able to break it down and complete it. So it makes it so much easier. And in doing that, they begin to enjoy learning. So the idea of enjoying learning, they want to go to school. They see the results of going to school, positive results, so they go.
Right. Are you finding a hard time post-COVID, or some people won't call it post-COVID, I like to say after the COVID break, I should say. Are you finding a hard time as an educator looking at your students and saying, we got a lot of ground to make up?
Well, we had a lot of ground to make up before COVID. So now COVID came and may still be around. It is even harder. And we found that we have scholars who did amazingly well during the COVID with using electronics, right? So, you know, if you're not a big writer, right, then using a computer helped them in that way. Our scholars really are struggling because they missed out a lot, and it's more so for our younger scholars than our older scholars. So take, for example, a scholar who should have been in kindergarten, missed kindergarten and first grade during COVID. Those were the foundational years of learning to recognize letters, phonetic sounding, and so now they are in grade 2 with no foundation of phonetic sounding, no reading skills, no math skills, so much harder. And the system still expects them to operate at grade 2 level. So it's much harder for the educators to fill those gaps while teaching in the current year. And so we implore, this is where our parent engagement program comes into play, where we meet with our parents, we give them the kind of skills that they need to help their scholars through this process. Because again, for parents, it can become frustrating. And so we provide those skills that allow parents to be able to help their scholars with homework. This is where our after-school program comes into play, right? We provide academic support in our after-school program that allows our scholars to come in after school in a safe environment and really build on those skills that they missed out in those crucial foundational years.
Yeah. Before we leave, you have an opportunity to tell people where your school is located?
So our after-school program operates out of the Wakefield Library currently. And our summer camp this year will be at Evander Childs High School, right? Where we have tons of activities. The academic support is there. So we're inviting parents to register early, because last year we had a long waiting list. So register early, start making your payments in small increments, so that by the time we get to summer camp, your payments would have been completed and you'd have been rest easy, and your scholar would have an amazing time this summer.
We want to thank you so much for joining us, Dahalia.
Thank you very much for having us.
All righty, Dahalia Beccan, who's also the director of DEB's learning program. I want to let you know, for more information, visit the website at debslearnacademy.com. And guess what? Don't go anywhere. We got more show coming up right after this.